Hey everybody, Harold here. It's the 4th of July. Happy 4th. Hope you like my fireworks. We do a little holiday special for you, the next Maven Data challenge. I'm excited to show you my DAX for the latest Maven Data challenge, the Massachusetts General Hospital Challenge. Here we are on the Maven Analytics challenge page, current challenge, hospital challenge. These challenges, they give you objectives and you're supposed to create an executive dashboard. You're a consultant for MGH. You want to build a high level KPI report for the executives based on some records they've given you. Purpose is to give them visibility into the hospital's performance and answer the following questions. So these are our four objectives. How many patients have been admitted or readmitted over time? How long are they staying in the hospital on average? What is the average cost of their visit? And how many of the different procedures are covered by insurance. Uh, so here's the data, multiple tables, 75,000 records, 55 fields. Just download it. I've taken mine into Power BI. I've done some cleaning and I came up with, here's my solution. I'll show you my dashboard real quick. Got some high level KPIs at the top, ribbon showing encounters by type, top 5 covered procedures. I've done a extra objective. I like to always add something extra. I showed visits by arrival time over 24 hours. Uh, got some stuff on. Let me click off this. Readmit total patients and readmitted patients, and I've got slicers for year, weekday, which works really good with the, like you can see who's coming in, what time of week people are coming. Um, so that's my answer. Let me show you how I got there. I've kind of got a blank version of it here called Measure Testing for Maven Hospital Challenge. And let me just stop for a second and give you a pro tip. Uh, these challenges are about executive dashboards. There's a lot of data here, and most of it you're not going to really need for an executive dashboard. For instance, they give you all this data on patients. This is more data for a patient detail page, not an executive dashboard. A lot of people want to work some of this stuff into their graphs and charts on their exec dashboard, but really all they need to know is how many patients there were. They don't need a map of the lat and long on the executive dashboard, which just shows a lump in the greater Boston area. That stuff's best left for detail pages. So back to my DAX, tried to stick to the objectives. I did add that arrival times so they could look at peak periods for staffing purposes. But let me just show you what I've done. I've left some of them on here and we're going to create some and add some. Key measures I have on here now are total claim costs, total encounters, total patients, and total procedures. And these are just basic sum and count rows measures. I'll show you some of them. Total claim cost is a sum. Total encounters is account rows. Patients is account rows. Procedures is account rows. Just simple measures I can use in expressions in other calculations. Now for the objectives. Let me shrink some of these. Back out of here. I've just got some blank visuals of multi-row card, a matrix, a table, and a slicer so we can see what our measures are doing. Objective 1, how many patients have been admitted or readmitted over time? The first thing we need here is total patients. So we just counted rows in the patients table. Now, to get the number of patients having more than one visit, I did something kind of tricky here, and I'll show you. This one I'm just going to go through. I am not going to write it out with you. I'll explain it to you. You can copy it. All this code is going to be available in my GitHub repository, so you can just follow along. So for patient ID count, I made a summarized table from the encounters table using the patient column. And then I made a column called count. So that's encounters patient. Another column called count, which counts the rows, and that filters the patient encounters against earlier, which lets me know if that patient had an earlier encounter, and then just adds that up to that patient's ID. So I'll get a two column table with the patient ID and the patient count. So let me just show you that table. Patient ID counts. So that's how I got that. And if I sort this ascending, you'll see it counted up. We got a guy here, woman, man, not sure, 1,381 times they visited the hospital during the period. So that counted the patient IDs. Now, then I made a measure. Let's do this up here. Key measures. Go to back to report view. Select key measures. New measure. And we're going to say for readmitted patients, all we need to do is uh, calculate. And we want to count the rows in that patient ID counts table, where, sorry, where patient ID counts count is greater than 1. That lets us know that person's been there more than once, so they'd be the readmitted patient. Now I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to do another measure. Let's get a rate here. Say readmittance rate equals, and we just divide here. Oops. So a new measure, readmittance rate equals divide. What do we want to divide? Well, the number of readmitted patients by the number of total patients. And then just in case of error with divide, we can put 0. And then close our divide. So readmittance rate. We probably want to make that a percentage. So let's look at some of these. Take total patients in our multi-row card, 974. Admitted patients in our multi-row card, 854. So 854 out of those 974 people have been there more than one time. That's 87.68 readmittance rate. So there's some basic DAX for objective one, how many patients have been admitted and readmitted over time, along with a rate calculation. So objective two, average length of stay for those patients. Well, if you've watched any of my rail challenge or time aggregation videos, you know it's really hard to deal with time links in Power BI, durations. A lot of people just end up doing things like decimal times, like 1.7 hour, 5 hours, when it should be 1 hour, 1:4:5, 1 hour, 45 minutes. Well, it's another case for Chelsea Iden's duration, and watch my other videos for detailed explanations on Chelsea and her duration formula. These are all just variations on that. No, I won't write them all out. I'll just explain them. Photo again will be available in my GitHub repository, so just follow along. To get visit length, I went on the encounters table and I made a new column using Chelsea's or variation of Chelsea's formula. What this formula does, visit length equals, creates 6 vars. The first one is just the difference between encounter start time and encounter stop time. That's the duration. So total seconds is now date diff using encounter start time, encounter stop time, and seconds as the interval. So now we've got total seconds. So we convert that total seconds into an integer, divided by 86,400 to get days and turn it into an integer. Take the remainder, see the modulus, divide that by 3,600 to get the hours. Take the remainder, modulus, divide that by 60 to get minutes, and the rest of it that's left over is going to be our seconds. Then we return, convert it into a text format in the proper time format for display. So there you have your visit length. Now to get the average visit length, I'm going to show you a little different way to do this. I'm going to get total seconds again, but this is kind of a different variation on the Chelsea's duration. It's converting it back from text into an integer. So now the vars are taking the values of a left find on the D, the value next to the D, in the mid, on the H, and so on and so forth, and converting them into integers and returning days times that number. So it's taking the text, days times 86,400, hours times 3,600, minutes times 60 plus seconds. It's taking the text, days, hours, and minutes, pulling it out, breaking it down, and turning it back into total seconds. Again, just copy this one if you don't understand it. It's kind of detailed and lengthy. So now we have total seconds. Then it's just a simple measure to get average total seconds after we've done all the heavy lifting. Seconds. So we say we're going to need two more measures here. So we'll get average visit length sec equals the average of the total seconds column in our encounters table. Okay. Let's start putting some of these up in cards. Let's clear this box here. 15. So the average visit length was 26,160 seconds. Well, of course, we need to turn that back into something we can use. So we need one more measure. And that measure will be just average visit length. And that's another Chelsea Iden. So I'm going to just give it to you. Let's paste it in here. Average visit length. We need to change this variable to the name of our, I had another name for it on another table. That's right. Okay. So average seconds equals the average visit length in seconds, and then we break it down and reformat it as text, just like before, to properly display it in our visual. So commit that, and we will get out of here and drop that in our table. There we go. So the average visit length was 0 days, 7 hours, and 15 minutes. I've dropped the seconds off, but I think that's what they're looking for. So there you go. That's how we would do the average visit length. I know it seems like a lot, but I think it's the proper way to do it and worth it to display the time correctly. And I suggest that you always have Chelsea Iden's duration measure in your toolbox. Objective 3 was average cost per visit. This is an easy one, I thought. New measure. Average cost per visit equals, divide again, uh, total claim cost by total encounters, and 0 for the alternate result. Close that. So let's drop average cost per visit in here too. It probably needs to be a currency. No, that didn't work. Try that again. Oh, I hit the comma. Currency. It probably needs 2 digits. That's a little ugly. Okay. Objective 3. Average cost per visit, 3.64 thousand, $3,640. Objective 4. Cover procedures. Um, there's a lot of ways you could do this. I just noticed there was no reason description in the counters table for uncovered procedures. So I made a new measure and just did this. Covered procedures count equals calculate. We're just gonna count the rows with the values. We're gonna make a values table. We're gonna virtual table of the encounter's reason description. It's a one column table. The distinct values, unique values including blanks of the reason description column in the encounters table. And we're going to filter that. Say if reason description. What have I done here? Count rows, count rows values, reason description. I got to close my count rows. We're going to filter on whether or not reason description is not equal to blank. So if there's anything in that reason description, it's going to count the rows of the unique reason descriptions and give me a list of the covered procedures. Or a count of the covered procedures, I'm sorry. Whoops. Something's wrong with my syntax. Oh, blank has to have an argument, an empty argument. So drop covered procedures in. Take something out. So 73 procedures are covered. You can take those. I did a top 10, top 5 on my dashboard showing the top 5 covered procedures. And this number was one of my KPIs. So that's objective 4. The last one I did, we'll call this extra credit. I wanted to chart arrival times over 24-hour periods. I could slice them by weekdays to show what our peak periods were for staffing needs. You guys may have seen me do this before. So we'll use this table here. Let me just take some of this off, make more room. I'm going to leave it just a table and a slicer. And I'm going to say in my encounters table, a new measure, uh, start time floor equals, use floor here. Floor takes all times within an hourly period and rounds them down to the hour. So 10:15 would be 10 o'clock, 10:45 would be 10 o'clock, 10:59 would be 10 o'clock. Creates hour buckets, hour time buckets. Then I can chart the buckets and slice them by weekday to show people are coming in at Saturday night 3 a.m. more or less. It's Sunday evening at 7 o'clock and so on and so forth. So we'll take the floor. This is a new column. I'm doing a measure. So that. So we'll say floor. Um, Start time. Counter start time. I did in cleaning break out the start time into a time only column and strip off the date. So it doesn't matter in this case. Did that in Power Query. So you just do Power Query, add column, go over to date, time, and time only, and it adds a column, just the time, if you want to know how to do that. And I want to break it down into 1 hour intervals. So I say, in quote, 1:00, close my parentheses. I got too many commas. Okay, start time floor. So we'll drop total encounters and let's make this a column, cluster column chart. And we'll stick in total encounters in our start time floor. And we don't want to sum that. We want to drop it in the x-axis. Okay, there we go. Looks like we have a formatting issue. Start time floor should be time. Yes, I want to change the data type. Okay, so now let me zoom in on this too. We drop on my date table. I did create a date table. Tell you what I do for date tables. I just go in Chat GPT and tell it I want a Power BI DAX date table for whatever time period, in this case 2011 through 2022, and it gives me this. And if I want something else, I just ask it to give me year, month, or is weekend or whatever, and it adds it on here. So I do have weekday name on here. And when you do weekday name, you have to have weekday number and do a sort column on it, or it won't sort right. So you have to do sort by column weekday, which is a number column, and it sorts correctly anyway. So drop weekday name in my slicer, and now I can see uh, based on what day it is. Sunday peak period is 3 a.m. and again at 5 a.m. Close enough. But Monday our peak, no, it's still at 3 a.m. Tuesday it's 10 o'clock in the evening. Wednesday it's noon, so on and so forth. See Friday night. Not Friday night at late, it's Friday night at 6. Huh. Okay. So that is my DAX for the latest Maven Data Challenge, the Massachusetts General Hospital Challenge. I hope you can use it in your entry. If you do, please let me know. Please, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. Leave me some comments, suggestions for future videos. I'd appreciate it. Enjoy your 4th of July, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.